Hello friends, welcome to this video where I'm going to discuss on the entry strategy aspects that you should to take care as a tax professional when you're advising your client, when the client is going to enter in India or probably your client is going to invest outside India in subsidiaries or in any other form of entities or is getting into the joint venture part. So whenever you get certain clients, certain type of queries from your clients, it is necessary that you take into certain aspects which I am going to discuss in this video from the perspective of international tax, transfer pricing and FEMA. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, you may hit the like button below. Also, I would request you to subscribe to our channel Learning CA, where we keep posting such informative videos which are specially made for tax professionals and chartered accountants. Before going to the video, let me also tell you about our transfer pricing boot camp. It's a 2-day boot camp which is coming up in the 7th and 8th October. It's an awesome boot camp where I'm going to discuss all the practical aspects in those 2 days. That is, day 1 pertains to the basic aspects of transfer pricing provisions. Day 2 pertains to the practical aspects, how you need to deal with the practical scenarios. So we are going to discuss this 2 particular thing in that boot camp, and hence I would request you to attend that boot camp, register for that boot camp, attend for those 2 days and learn transfer pricing. And if you are new to transfer pricing, the bootcamp is for you only. So do register now. The link is given below the description box. Also, we have come up with a Bharat, that is India TP Query Resolution Group. It's a WhatsApp group. It's an elite WhatsApp group which I have made. I have created that group only for those particular participants who subscribe to that group. In the group, I'm going to give the guidance on your all TP queries. So I'm going to guide you on your TP queries in case if you have queries. I'm going to provide clarifications, and there are no restrictions in the number of questions you will ask in the group. You can ask any amount of questions in that group, and the subscription will be active. The first subscription will be active till 30th November. You can check out the details of that group and benefits of being in that group in the link below. I have given the link from where you can check out that page as well, and you can register yourself if you think that you have certain queries related to transfer pricing and where you require my 9 years of guidance in that on that particular query. I'll be happy to provide that if you are there in this group only. So it's an elite transfer pricing group. Just do register on this group in case if you have ample amount of transfer pricing queries pertaining to your client or your organization. Now we come to the video. Now what are the aspects that we need to understand when we are discussing about entry strategy with the client? What we should advise as a consultants that we need to understand. So guys, when an entry strategy happens, there are 2 aspects that we should always keep in mind. What are the 2 aspects? The first aspect that we should keep in mind is the fund infusion. Now, first for forming subsidiary or forming branch office, or forming a subsidiary or a joint venture in any of the country, right, outside the other jurisdiction in which the client is present, the first part is that what amount of capital is need to be invested in that particular country, right? That is what we call fund infusion. So from fund infusion perspective, you need to check the first and foremost thing, the forex law, that is foreign exchange law, which may be prevalent in that particular country. So what is foreign exchange law prevalent in India? And in India, as you must be aware, there is a Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. So under that act, in case of any capital account transaction happens, there are certain guidances given. So in case if there is an investment which is coming in India, that is a fund being infused in India in an entity, then it is treated as a capital account transaction, and appropriately reporting needs to be done. So that is the first and foremost aspect that you need to analyze, that what are the compliances, that is reporting compliances and the deadlines which you need to consider from the FEMA perspective with respect to the transaction which is going to be undertaken. So there could be also a equity transaction, there could be a loan transaction, it could be a subscription to certain instruments, it could be, such type of transactions are covered under FEMA, and you have to do appropriate reporting also with FEMA. And if it's in listed company, then you have to also appropriately look out for SEBI guidelines, that is the stock exchange guidelines, that you need to look into that guidelines also. So that is also you should advise when your client is entering into the Indian markets. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is, in case if the transaction, that is the fund infusion transaction, is of nature where it's not a new setup, but they are entering into the existing venture, right? They are doing the joint venture, or they are buying this buying the entire, they are doing some M&A transaction where they are merging or acquiring any stake in the other entity, then at that point of time, a valuation also plays an important role. So you need to also understand the valuation when you also need to advise on the valuation when such type of transactions happen. So that's the second point, that is the valuation. This all we are discussing from the fund infusion perspective. I hope that clarifies. Now, apart from this two also, what you need to do here is that for as a prudent consultant, you can also advise on the debt equity ratio norms which may be prevalent in the particular jurisdiction. So that also you need to advise the client upon. So these are the three factors which you should understand from when a fund infusion is happening. So these are the three factors from fund infusion perspective. Now, when you should also advise client apart from that as a part of value addition or probably as a part of forecast. Once when the entities are set up, the client would be undertaking or is at certain times, client may undertake the transactions also, the routine transactions like sale, purchase, transfer of, sale or purchase of goods or services or transfer of intangibles, etc. Any of the transaction may happen. So when such transactions happen, we have already prepared a detailed video what you should see in that particular transaction, but still I'm going to explain that right now as well. So when such transaction happens, that is a transaction at operating level like sale, purchase of goods and services or transfer of intangibles is happening or any of the transactions like such transactions are happening, then you should also consider certain aspects. What are those? First, you need to understand the treaty implications, that is the taxation which may trigger upon on account of the double taxation avoidance treaty which the India might have with the other country, right? So you need to check that treaty implications, and under that treaty what you will check first, that whether the transaction creates a permanent establishment or not, correct? So that is you need to check. Not every transaction creates a permanent establishment, but there could be risk and exposures also on certain type of transactions. So that's where you may check the permanent establishment, you may undertake a permanent establishment analysis as well. Then apart from that, if the transaction is between the related parties, that is it is between the parties who are associated enterprise, then you need to also advise your client on undertaking of the transaction at arm's length price. You should always suggest your client to undertake that transaction at arm's length price. So for that particular thing, you would be required to undertake a transfer pricing analysis. That is what one of the most important things is. Also, apart from that, you should advise your client on foreign tax credit and the overall tax cost of any of the transaction. It could be on fund infusion. That is, when you evaluate fund infusion transaction, you need to also take into the account the repatriation part, and you need to understand client that if the amount is repatriated in future, then what could be the tax cost at that point of time, considering the rates which are relevant now. So that is one of the thing. And in case if you are analyzing the transaction, you can on the transaction part, you can also advise client on the foreign tax credit. You can check our videos on foreign tax credit. I hope this video was informative. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button. Also, if you wish to join transfer pricing, our upcoming transfer pricing bootcamp, do join this bootcamp. It's a really worth understanding the transfer pricing world, how it works practically, and I'm bringing my 9 years of experience into this particular bootcamps. We have done many webinars and workshops also earlier, and the response has been awesome. So I would request you to join this bootcamp if you're really interested in learning transfer pricing. Also, as TP season is gearing up, so for CFOs and CAs, in case if you have any TP queries or doubts or for which you require clarification, just join the WhatsApp group. It's an exclusive group only for the people who subscribe to that particular group. It's not for others. So where I'm going to guide you on your all TP queries. I hope that clarifies. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel Learning CA, where we keep posting such informative videos. Thank you.